Welcome back to KC Talks EV, and yes, it is finally time to do the summer range test on my Hyundai Ioniq Electric. For those that don't know, this is actually my personal vehicle, and it's got a 38.3 kilowatt hour usable capacity battery pack, and I believe a 40.4 kilowatt hour total capacity battery. Today's weather conditions are 21 degrees Celsius, so what probably in the UK we would call the summer. And in fact, we've got a small headwind on the way there and a tailwind on the way back. I've been trying to keep the route exactly the same, so to Burstall and back in order to have consistency across the route. However, I will like to make it clear that I expect much better traffic because I am doing this on a Saturday afternoon, and therefore it'll probably be a lot higher in terms of average speed. Therefore, I'm kind of expecting the efficiency not to be as good as probably what people think it would get. My prediction is probably somewhere in the region of 4.6 to 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour, but bear in mind we will have a higher average speed, and as a result, it might be potentially around 4.5, 4.6. Obviously still really, really good, but I guess in this video we're going to find out what it will be. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is very interesting at the moment. I believe the M1 is shut at this junction, so hopefully it will let me go back on it. But if not, I've been doing really, really well with the average speed. I've been averaging around 67 miles per hour. In fact, actually, it's taken me 47 minutes to do 51 miles, so that's really, really good. But what I'm hoping is it will let me go back on the M62 at some point, and then at that point, it won't reduce my average speed as much. I'm doing 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which is, again, really, really good, you know, for the average speed especially. So I guess let's see if it will let me go back on it, and we'll find out. And that's the reason why. M62 closed junction 28 and 29. So a bit of a status update. Yes, I was allowed back on the M62, but it's ruined my average speed. I was doing really, really well, but it is still quite a bit higher compared to the previous test in winter. So we'll continue on and then we'll turn around. Okay, so I've reached the halfway point, and as I mentioned, I've been basically pinned at 70 miles an hour for the whole trip up until the point where I had to come off the M62, end up on the M1, and had to come back again. I lost definitely a good few minutes by doing that. I've done 66 miles in total, and it's taken me an hour and 4 minutes to do that. So definitely a much higher average speed compared to the winter range test, and 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So actually less than what I got in total. But the other thing as well is that elevation, I am back down in elevation again. So what I'm probably expecting is once we're back up to 70 miles an hour, there isn't the blockage at the M1 end again. Basically, I should still get a pretty good result and possibly a little bit higher in terms of efficiency. So let's find out. Okay, so the range test is now complete and we have done in total 127 miles and the efficiency is 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Now you might be wondering, that's not that much more compared to the winter range test, and you are absolutely right. We got 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour in the winter range test. And you might be wondering the reason. Well, my average speed on this test was significantly higher. It was 63.5 miles per hour versus 55.8 miles per hour for the winter range test. Okay, so we left with 97%, we arrived here with 16%, meaning that 81% of the battery was used. Therefore, if you actually do some maths and do the extrapolation on that, you end up with 35.63 kilowatt hours of usable capacity, which in my opinion is the margin of error in comparison to the winter range test. And finally, if you actually then do 100% down to 0% theoretical range, you end up with 156.7 miles, and that is around 81% of the WLTP range, which is 193 miles. Now, as I said, although the results don't look particularly that great compared to the winter range test, in my opinion, it was expected. The fact is that this vehicle is extremely efficient in winter, and that is really purely down to the heat pump. The other thing that I would mention is that, yes, you are running a heat pump to cool the vehicle as well. So therefore, I didn't expect an amazingly higher efficiency just purely because it was warmer weather. Because this vehicle has a heat pump and it was able to scavenge heat in the winter test, it meant that the drop in efficiency wasn't as pronounced as it could have done if it, for example, used resistive heating. So, a heating element inside the car. Again, though, I did predict 4.6 to 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour, assuming that we could have kept the same average speed of 55.8 miles an hour as is the winter test. Because it was a much higher average speed, I reckon actually if I slowed down a little bit, it probably would be close to 4.6 or 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. And even still, 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour on a motorway range test, especially with the average speed that we got, is still very, very good. To put into context, things like the Vauxhall Astra Electric that I tested, which albeit was at a lower temperature, was getting, I think, 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. It would still be better. It's definitely one of the most efficient electric vehicles that you can actually get on the used market as well as the new market. So great performance, I would say, from the Hyundai. So I think that is pretty much it. So if you found this video informative and you liked the video, please like it, dislike it if you didn't. Leave a comment below to let me know if your prediction was actually correct from the start of the video. And I think that is pretty much it. So thank you for watching and talk to you later.